Hello everyone. So this week in pro wrestling, specifically WWE, we embark on a new journey of wrestling. Women's wrestling has always been kind of put on the back burner up until very recently. In terms of like the past 2 years, it started getting a lot more bigger and it increased a lot in terms of popularity, which is an amazing thing. However, this week starts the Mae Young Classic. 32 women from all around the world, representing 13 different countries, are competing in this phenomenal tournament, and I need to review it for you guys because it is something near and dear to my heart. Growing up, I was never really exposed to amazing female wrestling because it just wasn't really around in the United States. You know, I mean, yes, it was around, but it wasn't like very accessible. You know, I grew up with, you know, bra and panties matches, evening gown matches, mud matches, gravy bowl matches, water gun fights, you know. So women's wrestling, the little bit that I knew of it, I knew that it wasn't a reality for me. And while I still adored, you know, male wrestling, I just knew that it was much harder to break into that field because it was, you know, few and far between. Fast forward to 2017, I never thought that growing up that we would be witnessing a 32 women tournament in WWE. It is amazing. It is a milestone, and you know, women's wrestling has accomplished so much in such a short amount of time. And there has been so many trailblazers before this moment, and there's going to be so many trailblazers after this amazing tournament. So I am so stoked to be witnessing this incredible tournament, and just women's wrestling in general. This is very important to me, and I just am so stoked to review this tournament with you guys. So without further ado, let's jump into the Mae Young Classic tournament. So 4 episodes dropped early this week on WWE Network, and it is 16 episodes, basically all of round 1 of the tournament, and I am going to be reviewing each episode, and I'm going to be giving you my thoughts, my review on the entire first round, and I'll tell you my favorites at the end of this video. So to start off the tournament, episode 1, we have Kaylee Rey, who is personally one of my top 3 favorites in this tournament. She is a Scottish, high-flying, daredevil, badass bitch. And I love her so much. And she faces off against Princesa Soo. She is a Mexican luchadora with over 20 years experience in this tournament. I believe she has the most experience out of any woman in this tournament. So I'm assuming she is the oldest in the tournament. And this match was really good. To be quite honest with you, I thought Kaylee was going to win just by how they showed it. You know, she had dominating so much of the match. And Soo actually ends up winning with an armbar after Kaylee Rey goes for a flying senton and misses. It was a really good match to start off the tournament. And honestly, I know that Kaylee Rey has not been signed, but I don't know what they're waiting for because she's so good and she's a Scottish badass bitch and I'm obsessed with her. The next match, we have Serena Deeb versus Vanessa Borne. Now, Serena Deeb, most of you remember her from being in the Straight Edge Society with CM Punk in 2010. She had a bald head. That's her. She was going through an uphill battle with alcohol addiction, which is kind of crazy because she was in the Straight Edge Society. I know. But, you know, I always thought she was a great wrestler, and I'm so glad she's actually able to showcase a little bit of her skills in this tournament. She faces off against Vanessa Borne, a newly signed NXT developmental wrestler. I don't know much about her. I wasn't all that impressed with this match. On my notes here, just Serena wins with a spear. Up next, we have Shayna Baszler. She is known as being friends with Ronda Rousey. She's well known in the MMA world. She's facing off against Ziya. Ziya is trained in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and who's also signed to NXT. What I have written down in my notes is sick finisher from Baszler. a suplex into a sleeper, and she submits Zeta. So, quick side note, a lot of these women in this tournament are actually signed to NXT. They're not on the weekly scheduled show, but they are in the developmental process of getting trained. So while I think that's awesome, a little part of me feels like it's a little unfair that it's not 32 non-WWE signees. You know what I mean? Like, I want completely freelance, you know, the Tessa Blanchards, the Kaylee Reys, the Piper Nevins. A lot of these people are already signed to NXT. I don't know how I feel about that. I actually want your guys' opinion on that. For the final match of episode 1, we have Abby Lath, who is formerly known as Kimberly. She's best known for her work in CZW, and she is also signed to NXT. She's facing off against the German powerhouse, Jazzy Gabbert. Jazzy was actually known as the alpha female in TNA, and she's known on the indies. All I have written down here is incredibly stiff body shots from Jazzy. It was crazy. It was such a good match. But Abby Lath actually wins with a roll-up here. I was pretty shocked. You know, Jazzy was going for a powerbomb, and then Abby reversed it into a roll-up to get the victory. You know, another little theme that I noticed, any former TNA talents lose in the first round, with the exception of one girl who I'll get to soon. On to episode 2. First match of episode 2, Ziya Lee. She's a Chinese rookie, one of WWE's newest Chinese signees. She has a long way to go, to be completely honest with you, but she's facing off against Mercedes Martinez. Now, fun fact, I actually knew of Mercedes Martinez way before she was in this tournament. I used to watch ROH very heavily back in the mid to late 2000s, and she's well known for her work in Shimmer as well, and I also was a big fan of Shimmer back in the day, so I did know of her going in, and she's a fantastic athlete. But anyways, she's facing off against this new Chinese wrestler, Ziya Lee. Mercedes Martinez is a 20-year veteran, so obviously you know that she's not going to go down here. So Mercedes wins with the Dragon Sleeper. Quick work here, not much to say. Obviously Mercedes is always impressive. Up next, we have Marty Bell versus Rachel Evers. Marty Bell is known for her time in TNA, and Rachel Evers is the daughter of Paul Ellering. Rachel Ellering is her real name. Rachel wins with an inside cradle. To be honest with you, they were kind of building Rachel as such a powerhouse, but for some reason that did not translate with me at all. I just saw an average girl, you know, just trying to wrestle. I wasn't really that impressed. I mean, I just feel like she's kind of known as being Paul Ellering's daughter. Needless to say, Rachel did advance to round 2. Up next, we have Rhea Ripley. She's a 20-year-old Australian. She's facing off against Miranda Salinas. She's 23 from Houston, and she works at Booker T's wrestling promotion, Reality of Wrestling. Rhea Ripley wins with a full Nelson Slam. Easy work here. The final match of episode 2 is Mia Yim, who is actually my favorite in the tournament. I love her. A lot of you may know her as Jade from TNA, and she also had a very epic feud with Ember Moon, also known as Athena, on the indies a few years ago. It was so good. It's actually on YouTube if you guys want to type it in. Mia Yim versus Athena. They had amazing matches together. So we have Mia Yim versus Sarah Logan. She's actually signed to NXT. She's wrestled Peyton Royce several times on NXT. She's also known as Crazy Mary Dobson on the indies. She worked a ton of different promotions, and she signed to NXT in late 2016. Now, when she faced off against Peyton Royce a couple weeks ago, we're not really able to see her talent, but we actually got to see her talent really utilized in this match, and damn is she fucking good. She's really good, Sarah Logan. So what I have written down here in my notes, fantastic match, tons of open palm strikes from both women, Mia using a lot of German suplexes. Mia wins with the defeat. I'm proud of Mia. She's so good, and her story is just so amazing, how she was a domestic abuse survivor, and I think that's amazing that she came forward, and she is a role model for young women who has, you know, gone through that traumatic experience, and I just love her so much. So starting off episode 3, Match 1, we have Toni Storm. She's a 22-year-old well-known Australian professional wrestler. She is the first ever Progress Women's Champion. She's facing off against Ayesha Rehman. She is a 6-foot-tall British wrestler, dubs herself as the Deadlift Diva, in which she can deadlift up to 460 pounds. Toni Storm wins with a roll-up. Nothing more to say. She's a great wrestler. I know on Twitter the Iconic Duo have really been supporting Toni Storm throughout this tournament, so I'm excited to see if they sign Toni Storm down the line. They should. She's fucking great. Second match of episode 3, we have Dakota Kai, formerly known as Evie. She's from New Zealand, and she is signed to NXT. She's facing off against Kavita. She is the first ever female Indian professional wrestler to be signed by WWE. And Dakota wins with the coup de grace from the top rope, channeling a little bit of Finn Bálor. She's such a good wrestler. I cannot wait to see more from her. She's so good, Dakota. So good. Next, we have Bianca Belair. She is also signed to NXT. She's engaged to Montez Ford from the Street Profits. She's facing off against Sage Beckett. I love her. Also known as Rosie Ladala from TNA. Bianca Belair whips Sage with her braid. Her hair is so long. She's got this like crazy strong braid. She whipped her. And she follows up with a quick spear to end the match. I was very shocked that Sage did not win this because Sage is obviously the vet between the two. And yeah, I'm kind of shocked that Bianca went over here. But I can't really get behind Bianca that much. I'm not all that impressed with her. I know a fan asked me on Twitter if I like Bianca. Not yet. Not yet. So my favorite match of the tournament for round 1 is Piper Niven. She is a plus-size Scottish professional wrestler who is well known for her work in Japan. She did a lot of training in Japan, and she's facing off against Santana Garrett. Now, do I have to really explain? Most people know Santana Garrett. You know, she's worked for various independent promotions over the years, best known for her freelancing work, worked in NXT, worked in TNA. You know, fantastic freaking match here. I cannot stress enough how good this match is. Oh my goodness. So fucking good. Piper wins with a Michinoku driver here. This match is definitely a must-see. Like, if you do not have the patience to watch all 16 matches, if there's 2 or 3 matches to watch from this, this is definitely up there because it is so good. Piper is incredible, and I'm praying that they sign her because this girl is incredible. Not only can she break the boundaries as being a bigger woman, she's a plus-size woman, she's a big girl, you know, but she can move for her size. No shade to Nia Jax, but like you could tell Nia's slow. Piper is like the female Vader. She can freaking move for as big as she is. She could do flips and she could really go. And they need to sign her because she's fucking amazing. She's gonna break boundaries. And I know a lot of shit is talked on Twitter lately about her weight and stuff like that. Honestly, go fuck yourself. I don't care if someone's 500 pounds or 100 pounds. If you're fucking talented, you're fucking talented, and you deserve to be there. And damn right she fucking does. She's incredible. So starting off episode 4 of round 1, this is the final 4 episodes for round 1. We have Candice LeRae. She is Johnny Gargano's wife. She's a 15-year veteran of wrestling, best known for her work in CZW and PWG, very well known in the indie circuit. She's facing off against a newbie. Her name is Renee Michelle. She wrestles at some local feds in Florida. Candice ultimately wins with a middle rope swinging neckbreaker. Very easy work here. Up next, we have Lacey Evans. She is a former Marine. She is also signed to NXT. She's already been on some weekly episodes of NXT, and I'm a big fan of her. I love her whole pinup gimmick. She's the lady of NXT. She's amazing. I really, really like Lacey a lot. She got signed in late 2016 to the company. She faced off against Tainara Conti. She's a Brazilian judo fighter. She's also signed to NXT, but she's very newly signed. I think they just signed her about a month or 2 ago. Ultimately, Lacey wins with a back to belly pile driver. This is a very unique finisher, and it was really fun to watch. Lacey makes quick work out of Tainara. Up next, we have Nicole Savoy. She's dubbed as the Queen of Suplexes. Best known for her work in Shimmer. She's facing off against Reina Gonzalez. She's a 6-foot-tall rookie signed to NXT very recently. Nicole Savoy wins by submission with a cross arm breaker. Not much to say. So closing out round 1, the final match of round 1 is Kairi Sane versus Tessa Blanchard. Now, Kairi Sane is a newly signed talent. She's a Japanese wrestler. A lot of people love her on Twitter and social media in general. She's got a huge fan base, and she is kind of like the fan favorite to win this whole entire tournament. And that speaks volumes. That's amazing. She's facing off against Tessa Blanchard in this match, and I love me some Tessa. Tessa Blanchard has an incredible lineage. Clearly, she is the daughter of Tully Blanchard. She's a 3rd-generation superstar. She's just amazing. Tessa is the queen of freelancing. She has worked tons of different promotions. She's a free agent. She's all over the place in terms of wrestling, but she's just so good, and it's criminal. It's criminal that she has not been signed to WWE NXT because she is that damn good. She is only 22 years of age, and I just cannot get over how good this woman is. She's incredible. This match, seriously, so good. So good. I cannot stress how amazing it was. You literally have to go and watch it because it was that fucking amazing. Like, I can't even put into words. Kairi Sane ultimately gets the victory with the flying elbow drop that she does from the top rope, and it is just godlike. Like, she's so good. So good. You know, Macho Man would be proud. You know, that's how good of a fucking move it is. You know, it kills me that Tessa's out first round because she's so talented. I felt like she deserved to go way further in the competition. But, you know, her wrestling speaks for itself, and I do believe one day she will be signed. But round 1 is a wrap. I am very pleased. I cannot wait to see what round 2 has for us. I will be reviewing every single round, including the finale, and I'm just really excited for it. I will say, since you guys probably want to know my favorites in this tournament, so I have random favorites, but I will have to say Piper Niven is my first. She's incredible. 2, I love me some Kaylee Rey. I have to love my Scottish girls. Like, they're so amazing. Obviously, I love Tessa Blanchard. I love Mia Yim. And to round it out, I'm going to go with Kairi Sane. She's amazing. So, needless to say, I am so incredibly thrilled and excited that women's wrestling is such a big deal now. And this is only the beginning. Women's wrestling has become a staple in professional wrestling as of late, and a lot of times the women's matches are outshining the men, so it's just something to think about. Until next time, I hope you guys like, please subscribe, and follow me on Twitter. I love you guys so much. Bye.